Look at that lovely sunrise. I'm out here on my first long run back from Brisbane Marathon, from the half in a lovely Jersey. And today I want to talk about the SuperBlast 3. I want to do an update review. So I'm probably doing about 13k today. Prior to today I was about 150k. So this will get me through 160k or 100 miles. So that's what we're going to do. 100-mile update review for the SuperBlast 3. So we'll start off in my office. We'll go through the specs and the durability of the shoe, and then we'll come back here and I'll talk about my experience with the shoe itself. Let's dive in.
Alright, let's get into the details of the shoe. Now you can see it's quite a high stack height. So it's about 46 mil on the back with an 8 mil drop, which means it goes down to about a 38 mil up at the front. Now this is the new foam. So it's got the FF Leap at the top, and you can see that here, this cream sort of color, and then it changes down at the bottom, which is the FF Blast Plus. Now the FF Leap foam is the exact same foam that they have in the Metaspeeds, which you can see right here. Now the ASICS website claims that it's about 10 grams lighter than the SuperBlast 2. I've weighed both of my shoes, and I've also compared it against the SuperBlast 2. Now, the claimed weight, I'm not actually 100% sure what size they weigh in it, is about 139. Now, I've weighed mine at 258, so about 20 grams heavier than the size, whatever size they weighed. Now, my specific size is size 11 US, size 12 UK. Now, it is 15 grams lighter than the SuperBlast 2, which is weighing in at 275 grams. Now, it is a very different shoe compared to the SuperBlast 2. Very, very soft. It really feels soft when you run compared to the SuperBlast 2, which is a lot more solid. When it comes to the midsole, now you can see it looks pretty decent. There doesn't seem to be any sort of too many cracks or creases, but it does seem to have lost its pop. I'm going to go into that a little bit later in my feedback. But I feel like the SuperBlast 3 only lasts a couple of K. Now the SuperBlast, the NovaBlast 5, which I think is probably the most closest comparison, they're both easy run shoes. The NovaBlast 5 probably lasts about a couple 100K before it loses its pop, while the SuperBlast 3 only lasts a handful, probably 20 to 30K before it actually loses that pop, which I put down to the FF Leap foam. Now when you compare this to the Metaspeeds, the Metaspeed, while it does have the same foam, it also has a carbon plate. That carbon plate, I believe, is making it so much more efficient and so much more able to respond compared to the SuperBlast 3.
Now when you're comparing the wear and tear on the bottom of the shoe, you can see it's not too bad. Still, a lot of it is still quite there. There's a little bit of scuffing on the back of the shoe. As you can tell, I'm a bit of a heel striker. At the top here, you can see this is where I land, and you can see it's worn off a little bit, starting to get into the foam, but it's still there. It probably still has another 100, 150K before I would be a bit concerned. But everywhere else seems to be holding up solid. You can see in the middle, there's a bit of wear and tear down here, where the rubber's disappeared, a little bit on the sides. But other than that, it seems to be really holding up quite well. I've had no issues with rain or water, but I also don't run that. It doesn't get too wet here. It does get foggy and misty, but we don't end up getting too much actual physical rain. When you look at my other shoe, you can see we're in the exact same place on the outside of the shoes, the back, and a little bit in the middle here. Overall though, it seems to be holding up reasonably well at about 160K.
So what's my opinion of these shoes? Now, I am actually of two minds. I've got them in my ASICS cart at the moment to get another set. But at the same point in time, I'm like, they're not that great. They're good at what I believe it's designed for, but that's about it. So what are the shoes designed for? Easy, long runs. Definitely not your short, easy runs. That's the NovaBlast. But your long runs, your weekends where you're going out an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hours and beyond that when they shine. Now, if you guys have used the SuperBlast, you'll know that after about a couple 100k, they lose their pop. Now, with the SuperBlast 3, in my first video on the shoe, I talked about how it wouldn't let me slow down. Now, that stopped after about 20k. Now, it feels basically just like a slightly faster SuperBlast. It does push me a bit faster, but definitely would not use it on anything other than an easy day. Now, I have tested it out at a bunch of different paces. So today I'm just doing an easy run, but at the end I'm going to do some sprints. I love to do, at the end of my long runs, 5 by 20 seconds. It just gets that top end speed work and develops that efficiency for when you do your racing. Now, obviously, I'm not changing shoes, so I will be doing them in the SuperBlast 3s, but they do feel a little bit unstable. They're quite a high stack height, and so as you go hard and fast, it just feels a little bit wobbly. Not too bad, but you definitely need strong ankles to, push it to the limits. Now, as I said, I've got another set in my cart waiting to purchase. Will I actually check out? I don't know. I've got the Mega Blast in there as well. I'd love to test them out and do a review on those shoes as well. But for $340, I don't know. Is there something better? Potentially. Now, when I bought them the first time, I only spent $315 because I had a $25 discount. Even that, I think, is a bit much. For $250, 100%, I'd be using these shoes. Currently, it's at a cost of about $2 per K. How long will they last, though? That, I don't know. But if you want to see how they fare, I'll probably do another review at 400k, and then when they die, when they fail, hopefully that's about 750. But if we get to 1,000, even better. If you like this sort of content, please make sure you like and subscribe. And if you want to follow my training journey, going from a below average athlete to hopefully the Olympic Games in 2032 in Brisbane, make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one.